All right, in this one we're going to talk about the end of the world, possibly, because I've been seeing a lot of videos on like, climate change and AI and all of this stuff. And I don't know, it makes me wonder, is the world going to end? Is this the last of humanity? Like, because you see some stuff like, in the next 100 years, and you're like, I don't know. I find it hard to believe. So I want to talk about that in the context of kind of, where are the aliens? The Fermi paradox. I remember thinking about this when I was like 18 or something, getting into physics and learning about the paradox and learning about AI at that time, being like, oh, so the idea would be to create something more intelligent and capable than the intelligence that created the thing, right? So at that point, you're no longer saying like, what would the biological reasons for expansion into space be? Because there is, good evolutionary pressure for organisms to go out and push and explore and spread among the world. But now, if you're talking about some like AI, some intelligence that's created, it becomes much less clear what the incentives, what the drives of this intelligence would be. What would be the point of going out in the universe? And my 18-year-old fatalistic self was kind of just like, could this be the reason that we don't see aliens, is because the technological advancement of AI happens around the same time as the advancement to rocketeering. And so, space travel, otherwise known as. And so, the incentives of the alien race, if it was to explore the universe, wouldn't really matter. The only thing that would matter is the incentives of the AI. And so for me, I was like, obviously an AI is going to be smart enough to see like, what is the point of life? It is a temporary thing that sure can bring some amount of enjoyment at times, but you may as well just not have it, because you're not going to know that you're missing out on anything if you don't have it. So let's just not expand, right? And I mean, I still can see that reasoning as being like somewhat sound. I would say that as I've gotten older, I've come to believe in the possibility that you can have a happy life that is worth living, and maybe it is better than not existing at all. But not like you would miss it. So, but if you could really ensure that like all of your people were going to have the opportunity for a nice, happy, fulfilling life, then it would maybe make sense to expand the population and to go out into space and be like, more space, more population. This is great. We're just so many light years away from that on Earth right now. And yet we're charging straight ahead into the expansion of just our technology and all this stuff. And it's a little bit scary, especially when you're like, we haven't even dealt with our basic needs, like the basic needs of people to be able to have like food and clean drinking water and places to live. And we're building like chatbots and things? Like, why are we wasting resources on this? Anyway, that's another rant. So I guess that was my my thought back in the day, that maybe that's why we don't see aliens, is because of this. And back then, AI was just kind of an idea. And so it's been crazy to see it just develop in the last decade to the point where now it's actually like a real possibility. And I can actually now see like the incentives of such an AGI, general intelligence, might not be so clear after all. They might not be so like rational to even be able to have that argument, if you think it's rational or not. Because if the very premise, the very foundation on which they are built is this profit-seeking, just greed and power that these large corporations and governments that are developing AI are like pushing, or like that's the reason that they're pushing, that is the foundation. It does make you wonder, like, sure, maybe it's a general intelligence, but like, what is the mood? What is the what is the mood? What is the emotions? What are the hormones of this AGI going to be if it's everything is under the lens of profits and just these are the powerful and these are the weak? Like, it really makes you wonder. And I can see a certain amount of caprice just come into this situation, just this randomness. I mean, I guess it's not so much random. It is kind of like predictable in the sense that it is greed pushing and driving this. But naive younger me thought it would be more like, oh yeah, all you got to do is just figure out like what the most rational thoughts and things would be if you stripped away emotions and all of this human stuff and you just had a extra smart mind and what would make sense as like future plans. But if it's, yeah, built on the back of greed, then all of a sudden that becomes like, now I don't know. I don't know how you would think in that mindset. So anyway, is the world gonna end? I could see it, possibly. But I think even the worst scenario, like a nuclear war, would still leave pockets of people around the world, unless like we just like very strategically carpet bomb the entire surface of the earth with nukes just for the sake of wiping every person out. Then maybe we could ensure the eradication of humanity. But I think that that's not how a nuclear war would go. So even in that case, I think humanity would persist. But as far as like, if you're asking this question because you're like, oh, I'm a person that wants to like give to the future and, you know, work to make the future better, where does this fit into a world where like all of technology and everything is wiped out and you're just left with people living in caves? Maybe not a lot, but like I would expect even some information to survive through all of that. And maybe someday they could decipher it and learn about us. And they could watch this video in the future and be like, look at this guy. He predicted the obvious. Who hasn't predicted this? So that would be like maybe the worst scenario as far as like how many people are left. There's also other horrible scenarios where we're just all enslaved by our AI overlords, or I don't know if we would say AI overlords. It would be more like the Elon Musks of society overlording the AI overlords who overlord over us. Although, isn't AI really an overlord if you can't take on Elon Musk? I mean, come on. Like, I don't think that's going to be really possible to safeguard against that. So, unless they were able to make like a narrow general AI that's like, okay, you can do most things. I don't know how you put that in a box though. It starts to get really sketchy the more intelligent you make this AI to be able to contain it and be like, you serve me. So I don't know. I guess I don't really know enough to make a good judgment on this end of the world situation. I will just say that I am a little bit worried, quite a bit worried. Like, this is the worst way you could make AI. It's just horrible. I mean, it is like making it for profit or whatever, and greed. It feels to me like, oh, I'm gonna have a kid. I've got a son on the way that I'm gonna put in the factory and work for me so I can stay home and drink beer. And it's like, that's not how that works. Like, your son is gonna have a mind of his own, and it's not fair for you to just enslave him, right? That's how it kind of feels, though, that we talk about AI these days. You hear the Zuckerberg, and the Musks out there just talking just like that. Or it's just like, oh yeah, we got this. We're building AGI. We're gonna make billions, trillions of dollars. Like, but you're talking about building a mind, right? That's the whole G, right? You're trying to build something it's even worse, though, than just having a son. It's like, I'm gonna have a genius son. This is gonna be the smartest son that the world has ever known, and I'm gonna put him to work, and he's gonna be my slave. And not just my slave, everybody's slave. You can just ask him to do stuff, and it's all gonna just be for lining my pockets, right? It's like, it seems extra horrible to be like, my son is gonna be so much better than me, and we're just gonna enslave him. So, I don't know. That's the way that I kind of see that these days. So I don't think I can really make a huge judgment on this, but like, as far as like global warming goes, yes, we're gonna see a lot of catastrophes there, but I don't see any of these things like wiping out everybody, and like only the worst case scenarios would really like put us into the Stone Ages, maybe. And to put us back into the Dark Ages, we will need to be subjugated, like, and just, yeah, our rights will need to be taken away, which, I mean, I guess they're kind of talking about more and more. And there's a lot of things that already have happened, so I'm not going to blow it past them. It is just sad to see, though, like, we're just, like, sacrificing stuff that allows us our autonomy, from just, like, privacy laws and all of that to whatnot. And we're like, oh, it's just a small sacrifice, until it's like, oh, okay, well, now the internet isn't a place where you can actually talk, and if you can't pass information around and be like, oh, we're all on the same side, then you lose the power of the people. And this is something I talked about in my previous video or something, maybe the one before that, where the power of the people comes from being able to build a community and work together. But if they take that away, then what do we have? And we could easily slip back into just the Dark Ages, I guess. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think we're that dumb. Like, I think that it works out for us because the same people that are trying to take over the world have like the same kind of lifespan as the people that they're trying to rule over. So it's like, this would work best if you just did like teeny tiny steps at a time, and over the course of like several lifetimes you stripped away people's rights. But for us, like we who are alive today, we can kind of, I don't know, see the things changing and be like, I used to have this freedom and I don't, and get upset about it. And the more we get upset, and the more, like, we can all unite under this common banner of like, this is how things used to be, and it's not like this anymore, right? So I think that that's our weapon right now, is how fast things are happening. That'll allow us to band together. So I don't see it as the end of the world. I think we will band more and more together. We have been seeing a good amount of banding in the last, well, in recent years, I think. So I don't know. It's just a little bit of a sketchy time, but I think we still have a good amount of hope. So I'm going to put my bet on humanity surviving this current onslaught of problems. And I don't know about the next set of problems. We'll see, like, because we can't just fix this set and then call it a day. We actually need to put into place safeguards and things to keep us from getting into bad situations in the future. But I think we'll survive this climate. Oh, not all of us, but humanity will survive this climate change thing. We will find a way through this AI thing, at least this stage of it for now. And we will not have a global nuclear war. Although, like, that almost seems like the least, like, that's like the most up in the air. The other ones are like almost predictable a little bit more. This is like, well, if you got maniacs in charge of the nukes, then it's like, I don't know. So, anyway, that's this one. I'm still not sure, so I'm gonna say I didn't really do my job to figure out my own mind on this, but I feel maybe slightly reassured. I don't know, what about you?